Some structures in the Balkans were built, not to impress, but to exist forever. They rose from war, religion, and the ambitions of kings and empires. From clifftop monasteries to forgotten stone bridges, they challenge our sense of time. Many were hidden for centuries, buried in forests or carved into rock. They were shaped by faith, defended with blood, and preserved in silence. Each one holds a story of survival, legacy, and cultural brilliance. In this documentary, we uncover the Balkans' most extraordinary historical masterpieces. Timeless monuments, finally revealed after centuries of mystery. Meteora Monasteries, Greece. These rock formations rising around Kalimbaka attract the attention of the whole world with their sky-reaching columns. It is known that the first monks came to Meteora in the 6th century and withdrew into seclusion in worship cells carved into the rocks. However, in the 14th century, they began to build permanent monasteries here. Throughout history, 24 monasteries have been built in the region. Today, 6 of them are still active and open to visitors. In our list, in addition to the 6 still functioning monasteries, there are also 2 old monasteries. We start with the first monastery. This is the Great Meteoran Monastery, the largest of the Meteora monastery group. Built in the 14th century, the monastery is established on a single massive rock more than 4 meters above the ground. It stands out with its Byzantine frescoes and wide view. In the second place on our list is Varlam Monastery. Until the 20th century, the monastery could be reached using rope pulleys and nets. Today, it is possible to reach Varlam by climbing long stone steps carved into the rock. This monastery is known for its masterfully crafted stone structures and magnificent view. In third place is Rusanu Monastery. Founded in the 14th century, the monastery was built on a narrow rock peak. The location where it was built makes it possible to see all the surrounding valleys and rock formations from a wide perspective. Its silhouette, integrated with the rock, almost makes the boundary between man-made and natural formation invisible. In fourth place on our list is the monastery of St. Nicholas Anapausis. The monastery is one of the smallest and narrowest structures built in Meteora. Although it appears to be single-story, it consists of several levels vertically. Meteora's St. Stephen's Monastery is in fifth place. This monastery, accessible by a bridge, is known for its easy access. It has a well-maintained courtyard and gardens adorned with flowers where visitors can stroll with an impressive view. Situated on a steep rock, the Holy Trinity Monastery is in sixth place on our list. The foundations of the monastery were laid in the 15th century. Placed on a steep and narrow rock peak, this monastery is one of the most difficult to access in Meteora. Thanks to its high location, the Thessalian Plain and the Pindus Range are revealed in a single frame. In seventh place on our list is Epapantis Monastery, a small monastery carved into the rock. This is one of the lesser-known monasteries of Meteora and lies outside tourist routes. Although it no longer functions as an active monastery, it has been restored and preserved and is open to visitors only in special cases. The last in the list, Badovas Monastery, which remains outside tourism, has been partially ruined over time due to natural erosion and abandonment. UNESCO has placed Meteora under protection as both a cultural and natural heritage site. Golubac Fortress, Serbia. Built on steep cliffs, the fortress was constructed in the 14th century on the eastern bank of the Danube River. With more than 9 towers, the fortress is a stone fortification surrounded by thick walls. Throughout history, it changed hands among Ottoman, Hungarian, Serbian, Bulgarian, and Austrian forces. The tallest structure of the fortress, the Hat Tower, was used for defense and observation purposes. With the 2016 restoration, a large part of the fortress was open to tourism with safety measures. The Bay of Bones Museum, North Macedonia. The museum is an open-air complex where prehistoric houses have been reconstructed on the surface of Lake Ohrid. The settlement consists of more than 20 structures built on stilts submerged in the water. Bones discovered in the lake gave the area its name, Bay of Bones. Visitors can walk through the wooden pier houses and explore prehistoric life step by step. San Giovanni Fortress, Montenegro. This fortress overlooking Kotor is built on a steep hill more than 250 meters high. After Our Lady of Remedy, the route becomes a historical journey leading to the top of Kotor. The fortress and wall system stretch across nearly 5 kilometers, with some sections reaching up to 20 meters in height. From the summit, Kotor on the bay's edge looks like an open-air model. Today, the ruins of the fortress offer a quiet and history-filled atmosphere. Panagia Hausaviotissa Monastery, Greece. The monastery, built in the 11th century, is set on a steep cliff about 300 meters above sea level. Only the front facade of the monastery is made of stone walls. The other sides rest directly on the rock. This structure rising above the sea offers visitors a breathtaking view. Thanks to restorations, the white exterior of the building has been preserved and its original texture maintained. Gjirokastra Fortress, Albania. The first walls were built in the 12th century for defensive purposes. The fortress includes 5 towers, a clock tower, the remains of a mosque, and a large festival area. Ceramics and foundations dating back to the 5th century prove that the site is much older. Inside, there are displays of cannons, machine guns, and aircraft from World War II. During the communist era, the structure was used as a prison, with isolation cells and surveillance rooms. From the fortress terrace, you can easily view the historic houses of Gjirokastra and the surrounding mountain ranges. Pochitel Citadel, Bosnia and Herzegovina. Built in the 14th century, the fortress was constructed to protect the trade route in the Neretva Valley. The fortress, built on a karstic slope, also provided a defensive advantage through its natural topography. The Gavranka Petanović Tower at the highest point was a symbolic display of power beyond its watchtower function. In its initial construction phase, the fortress included only an inner courtyard and an observation tower. By the late 15th century, the fortress was further reinforced with new towers and walls in response to increasing threats. National Library of Kosovo. The 99-domed structure, covered with steel lattices, is one of the most unusual library designs in the Balkans. This building spans an enormous area of over 16,000 square meters. It is equipped with research halls, catalog rooms, and event spaces. A hub filled with knowledge, it can host hundreds of readers at the same time. Its design is praised by some for its innovation, while others find it difficult to embrace. Spanish Fortress, Hvar, Croatia. The fortress, rebuilt by the Venetians in the 13th century, was constructed on the remains of older Byzantine structures. For centuries, this fortress protected the city from threats coming both from land and sea. In the 16th century, Spanish engineers contributed significantly to the planning and reinforcement of the reconstruction. Due to this technical support, the fortress gradually became known among locals as the Spanish Fortress. St. John at Canio, North Macedonia. Overlooking the still waters of Lake Ohrid, this church rises on the edge of a rocky outcrop. Although the exact date is unknown, it is believed to have been built in the 13th century. Dedicated to St. John, this structure is a place of prayer and contemplation for believers. Its red-tiled roof and striking frescoes have been restored many times over the years, preserving their original form. Spinalonga Fortress, Greece. The fortress was built in the 16th century to protect the Cretan coasts against Ottoman attacks. This historic island rising by the turquoise waters resembles a movie scene with its architecture and surroundings, impressive from every angle and beyond time. Its strategic location and imposing structure made it an unconquered fortress for centuries. The island's name derives from the Latin phrase "long thorn," given by the Venetians. In the 20th century, the island was turned into a leper colony for isolation purposes. Today, the island is a protected historical site that displays its layered past. Regular ferry services from nearby ports make it easily accessible. Manasya Monastery, Serbia. Dated to after the Battle of Thessaly, Manasya is one of the most important constructions of the 15th century. This religious complex is located by the banks of the Rasava River in a peaceful valley near Despotovac. Thick walls, reinforced by numerous towers and a donjon, give the monastery the appearance of a fortress. Behind these stone ramparts, there was more than just a monastery, the Rasava school, which carried the cultural memory of the Middle Ages. The library, with its collection of tens of thousands of works, played a decisive role in the development of written culture in the Balkans. This monastery is officially listed among Serbia's cultural heritage. Berat Castle, Albania. The structure was built on a hill overlooking the Osum River at the highest point of the city. The history of the fortress dates back to the 4th century BC. Most of the defensive walls were rebuilt during the Byzantine and Ottoman periods. Among the structures within the fortress, the most striking one is the Church of the Holy Trinity, positioned on the hilltop. Dating to the 13th–14th centuries, this church reflects Byzantine architecture with its cross-shaped plan and central dome. This architectural unity embodies the image of the City of 1,000 Windows that makes Berat recognized across the Balkans. Franciscan Monastery of Ščit, Bosnia and Herzegovina. With roots in the 15th century, this site is preserved as part of Bosnia and Herzegovina's national heritage. Located on a narrow peninsula surrounded by the waters of Lake Rama, the monastery offers a unique view. The structure, dating back to before the Ottoman era, has been destroyed and rebuilt several times with care. This monastery is a unique place that reflects both the religious and historical identity of Bosnia and Herzegovina. Mamula Fortress, Montenegro. The fortress was built in the 19th century during the Austro-Hungarian period for strategic defense purposes. From a distance, it gives the impression of a guardian standing with dignity on the island. The circular island is almost entirely surrounded by stone walls. Once a silent fortress, the island now appears like a luxurious retreat. A unique stop for travelers seeking an experience intertwined with history. Church of Panagia, Greece. The church, located at the highest point of Folegandros, has become a symbol of the island. Built on a high rocky cliff, it can be reached by a 10-15 minute walk via stairs carved into the rock. The structure follows a single-nave basilica plan and is entirely covered with whitewash. Its 3 domes and arched superstructure are among the few preserved examples of Aegean church architecture. Franciscan Church and Monastery, Dubrovnik, Croatia. This monastery is a historical complex located just inside the city walls. The structure is positioned at the beginning of Straden Street. The complex includes a church, a monastery, a library, and a still active pharmacy. The monastery pharmacy, operating continuously since the 14th century, is one of Europe's oldest still-functioning pharmacies. The double columns and meticulous stone details in the lower courtyard of the structure are rare examples of Romanesque Gothic architecture from the 14th century. Today, the complex stands out as a peaceful retreat within Dubrovnik's Old Town and a popular stop for photographers. Prizren Fortress, Kosovo. The fortress is located on a dominant hill rising in the eastern part of the city. The foundations of the structure date back to the defense network built during the reign of Byzantine Emperor Justinian in the 6th century. With an altitude exceeding 500 meters, the fortress has a position that allows observation of both the city and its surroundings. After the restoration process, the fortress has become a safe and accessible area for visitors. White Fortress, Bosnia and Herzegovina. This white stone structure, which has guarded Sarajevo for centuries, stands out with its strategic location. According to some sources, it was built in the 16th century, while others claim it was even earlier. Among the public, there is a widespread legend that the white color comes from coating it with egg whites and milk. The hill is very high. Almost all of Sarajevo is spread out before your eyes. St. Naum Monastery, North Macedonia. This monastery is located in the southwest of the country on the shore of Lake Ohrid. Saint Naum founded the monastery in the 10th century and was buried here after his death. In the Macedonian Orthodox tradition, Saint Naum is regarded as one of the healing saints. The present structure largely dates back to the 16th century, while most of the frescoes belong to the 19th century. It is known for its panoramic lake view, tranquil nature, and Orthodox worship atmosphere. Hamara Castle, Albania. This fortress was built as one of the early defense systems of Chaonia. Its location offers an ideal point to observe the Ionian Sea and its surroundings. Archaeological layers clearly reveal traces of settlement spanning thousands of years. Several churches from the Byzantine period are still standing within the fortress. The local people have named the fortress Barbaka, and this tradition still continues. Basarbovo Monastery, Bulgaria. The monastery is carved into a steep rock in the Rusensky Lom River Valley in northern Bulgaria. Stone stairs carved into the cliff slopes provide access to the upper sections of the structure. Inside the monastery, there are small and simple monk cells. These rooms were used for silent retreat and individual prayer. The surrounding area also features a quiet natural landscape and open spaces designated for prayer. Basarbovo Monastery represents the unique monastic tradition of the Balkans with its rock-cut architecture. Lindos Acropolis, Greece. This ancient coastal settlement was founded by the Dorians in the 10th century BC. In the early 4th century BC, the sanctuary was destroyed by a great fire and rebuilt within the same century. The Doric Stoa, reaching approximately 90 meters, is one of the most magnificent walkways of the Acropolis. The propylaea and ritual stairways, on the other hand, were structures representing spiritual transition in antiquity. At the summit of the Acropolis rises the Temple of Athena Lindia with 4 columns. The temple, located at the highest point, is a classical example of Hellenistic elegance. This ancient summit overlooking the Aegean Sea offers both functionality and beauty together. For centuries, it has been a source of inspiration for both ancient architects and modern archaeologists. Spaniola Fortress, Herceg Novi, Montenegro. In the 16th century, the Spaniards built the fortress in honor of Charles II. Only 1 year after it was built, the fortress fell into the hands of the Ottomans. After the Ottomans took the fortress, they completely reshaped it with a 4-bastion square plan. Inside, there were remains of a mosque, a water cistern, a barracks, and a warehouse. It was known that underground tunnels existed between the Spaniola, Canlucula, and Fort Mare fortresses. These passages were largely destroyed and sealed during the 1979 earthquake. Today, the fortress is abandoned and open to visitors free of charge. Arslanigić Bridge, Bosnia and Herzegovina. The bridge is an Ottoman-era bridge built over the Trebishan-Jica River. It was completed at the end of the 16th century by the order of Grand Vizier Mehmed Pasha Sokolović. The bridge takes its name from the Arslan Aga family, who collected crossing fees. Its original location was in the Sanville area. In the mid-20th century, it was submerged due to a dam. The structure's stones were dismantled one by one and rebuilt in its current location a few years later. The bridge is presented as one of the most elegant Ottoman bridges of Bosnia and Herzegovina. Klamutsi Castle, Greece. The castle, built in the 13th century, was used as the main headquarters of Frankish pirates. Its location, more than 200 meters high, offers a wide view of the Ionian Sea and the plain. It contains a hexagonal tower, an inner courtyard, and multi-story structures belonging to typical Frankish architecture. Despite being built 7 to 8 centuries ago, its architectural details are remarkably well preserved. Throughout its history, it did not experience a serious siege and was generally a place where distinguished captives were held. Modern wooden platforms allow visitors to explore the site safely. The wall built with medieval stonework contrasts with the elegant texture of the garden. Visitors describe the castle as one of the most solid medieval structures of the Peloponnese. Ostrog Monastery, Montenegro. This rock-carved monastery is more than an architectural wonder. It is a monument of faith integrated with nature. The structure was adapted to the shape of the natural rock. There are no additional exterior walls. For centuries, despite natural conditions, the outlines of the frescoes have been preserved. Before reaching the monastery, nature invites a person to an inner preparation. Visited by more than 100,000 people annually, this monastery is one of the most frequented pilgrimage centers of the Balkans. Maleševa Monastery, Serbia. The monastery was built in the first half of the 13th century in the Mileševka Valley. The complex is limited to a main church building, a narthex section, and a stone-paved courtyard. Maleševac Fortress provides a natural backdrop and a strategic line of defense, protecting the monastery. Medieval stone craftsmanship gave the outer walls not only durability, but also an awe-inspiring simplicity. The sloped tiled roofs provide effective protection against the harsh Balkan winters. Today, the monastery is considered the peak point reached by 13th century fresco art. Salona, Croatia. This ancient city reflects the Roman heritage with its amphitheater, walls, and basilicas. The amphitheater was built at the northwestern edge of the city, just outside the walls. Its arena, with a capacity of about 10,000 to 15,000 spectators, was used for events such as gladiator fights and wild animal shows. The Manastiri necropolis in the city consists of tombs from the early Christian period. The site contains an old basilica, stone sarcophagi, and ornate tomb structures. The Episcopal complex in Salona is one of the largest religious centers of the early Christian era. This complex is a sacred area that includes the bishop's palace, a basilica, and a baptistery. It is a peaceful stop for cultural tourists who enjoy exploring in a quiet atmosphere. Ali Pasha Castle, Albania. This fortress was first built by the Venetians in the 15th or 16th century. However, the symmetrical structure we see today, its four-towered design and reshaped plan, were largely made in the 19th century by Ali Pasha Tepelena. Ali Pasha surrounded the fortress with watchtowers and moats, making the defense layered. Thanks to its strategic location, the fortress could directly oversee canal traffic and sea passage. Its outer walls were built with thick stone blocks and are quite well preserved. It is an important spot for photographers and history enthusiasts. Palamidi Castle, Greece. The fortress, with its height of more than 200 meters, completely dominates the city of Nafplio. Its 8-bastion structure makes it almost impossible for the enemy to capture the entire fortress. Each bastion was placed to protect the others. This reflects the advanced engineering of the period. Shortly after its construction, the fortress came under Ottoman rule and remained under their control for years. However, in the first half of the 19th century, it was retaken by Greek rebels and turned into a symbol of the independence struggle. The staircase, with more than 800 steps, is one of the most iconic parts of the journey to the fortress. We've now reached the end of our journey through the Balkans' timeless wonders. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to like and subscribe. It really helps the channel. We'd also love to hear from you. Which place stood out the most for you? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let's talk about it. As this journey ends, others are waiting to begin. We've added a few more Balkan countries on the end screen, each with its own story. Click the one that calls to you and continue exploring with us. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next documentary.